Hey there, it's Paul here, founder of the beginnerguitaristacademy.com. You can see just chilling out here on the guitar. Haven't really had a whole lot of time to set up kind of the studio, so just thought I'd set up a camera here at my desk and wanted to put together a quick video. Basically, not that long ago, I received a video from one of my customers of my 12-week guitar course called the 12-week Guitarist, and it was basically a critique and feedback session. So what he did was he sent through a video of himself playing a couple of songs that I cover in the 12-week course, and what I did in response to that was send back a video with some tips, suggestions, kind of a critique and kind of feedback type of video, just to help him out with what was going on. And one of the things that he was kind of struggling with was kind of going from chord to chord, so changing from going from like a G major to like a C major, or going from a G to an E minor, which he actually had that down pat really well. It was kind of going from like G major to a C major to a D, and kind of those things. And what was happening is he was playing the songs and he could strum okay, he was doing that well, and it was just you would get these pauses in the songs caused by the time it would take to change from chord to chord. And this was an issue of mine. I remember when I was kind of starting out on the guitar. I know it's an issue for a number of people, so I want to in this video I wanted to kind of share with you the tips that I gave my customer that helps him out, and hopefully if he implements them will help him out, but also the tips I've shared with other people and kind of the common suggestions that are going around. The first tip or kind of issue that I see is when people going from like a chord such as like a G or even an E minor to say like a C major, there's this kind of walking process that they do with their fingers. So for an example, if we're going from like a G to a C major, they'll go from a G, and then there'll be this kind of walking process where they do one finger at a time. And that's generally what happens most of the time when people are playing chords at the beginning. There's this kind of walking process. Ideally, you just want to be able to kind of get your fingers down in one hit. But it doesn't kind of happen like that at the beginning. There's this kind of walking process as you go finger by finger. Now that's totally fine at the beginning. What happens is as you get better, you build more speed, and as you memorize it, so it happens a lot quicker. But while you're getting there, something you can do to kind of speed up the chord changes is, instead of when you're walking your fingers down, say with a C major chord, from thinnest to thickest, and this is what he was kind of, what I pointed out that what I believe he was doing wrong anyways, is when he was forming, like when he went from an E minor to the C major, he would start the walking process by going from the thinnest to the thickest string. What I recommend doing is going from the thickest to the thinnest string. So with, again, a C major, he would go from the second string, the fourth and the fifth string, so kind of going from thinnest to thickest. Instead, I recommended going from the fifth string, the fourth string, and then the second, so going from thickest to thinnest. What this does is it kind of gets your fingers in place, so it's I guess when you go from thinnest to thickest, you have your hands kind of in an awkward position and not really ready to go up. But when you're going from thickest to thinner, thickest to thinnest, I apologize, it's quite easy just to walk your fingers down and get them in position a lot easier. So when you're changing chord, take check, especially if you're going to like a C major chord in any of the songs. Are you going from the thinnest and working your way up, or are you going from the thickest and working your way down to the thinnest string? If you're going from thickest to thinnest, keep doing that. I believe that's the easiest way. If you're going from thinnest to thickest, try and make a conscious effort to do the opposite. So instead of going thinnest to thickest, go thickest to thinnest. Kind of one of the best tips I could probably share that will help improve your chord changes. Another tip that I suggested to him was to take note of the chord or the next chord that you're changing to, and try and get your fingers in position ready to do that. So that probably made no sense, but for the example, what he was doing is playing Last Kiss by Pearl Jam, which is a G, E major, G, E minor, C, and D chords. What was happening was when he was going, he could do the G to the E minor, extremely well, no problems at all. It was to go from that E minor to the C, and one issue was caused by that walking process. But another thing I noticed was when he was playing the E minor chord, he was playing the E minor chord with his first and second fingers, so first and second, which is totally fine, you can do that. However, when he had to get from this to the C major chord, if you have a look here, E minor with the first and second, my first finger is on the fifth string, but when I need to form the C major, I need to get from all the way up here from, you know, the 5th string to the 2nd string, so there's quite a big jump that I need to do. Hence, this is why it was taking time, you know, to get those chord changes. So he's kind of making things harder for himself. And if you notice that, you know, you're doing that yourself, what you want to do is think about what's the next chord I get to, and is there a better way of playing the chord, or an alternative way I can play that chord so I can get there more quickly. So what I suggested and how I played the E minor for Last Kiss is to use my 2nd and 3rd finger. And what that means is when I need to change to the C major chord, well, I can have my finger sitting right down there. So when I change, all I need to do is do a quick swap over on my fingers. So my 1st finger is basically already there to go. So I can get a smooth chord change. But with him, he had to unfortunately go from all the way up here and kind of work his way down. But he was going so up here, then he went, when you add the other problem of, you know, walking from thinnest to thickest, it's kind of making it, you know, really difficult. So that's my suggestion, is think about, you know, consider what's the next chord that's being used in the song, and is there an easier way to get there, or is an alternative way to play that chord so you can get there more quickly. You know, that E minor was an example where you can play the E minor with your 1st and 2nd, but if he did it with his 2nd and 3rd, means his finger's going to be there, and it's going to be a lot quicker to get to the C major chord, which was causing you know, the issues in that, you know, in this instance. So just have a think about that when you're playing songs too, and just think, well, is there another way I can play the chord? And again, go from thickest to thinnest strings, and that should help out as well. But what I want to do is leave you with a quick process that will help you build up speed, and kind of improve and build up muscle memory, and just really make things a lot quicker and easier. So what I recommend doing is picking a song you want to learn. So let's say Last Kiss by Pearl Jam, because we were using that before. You need to work out what chords are in that song and in what order. So we've got Last Kiss by Pearl Jam, G, E minor, C, and D. So they're the 4 chords. Now what you do is you just simply play those chords in that order and just do a simple down strum. So don't worry about strumming patterns here, because, you know, when you're trying to coordinate the 2 hands, it can get a little bit tricky, and it will generally affect the chord changes. So what I recommend doing is just at the beginning, just do the chord changes with a simple down strum. If you have a metronome, it's even better to do this with a metronome, so you keep the time and just keep going like this. You can even do this while watching TV. I'm doing it while recording a video. So, in just doing that, and if you have a metronome, you know, you could set it to say 60 beats per minute and then gradually increase. But what will happen is you start building muscle memory. Even if you can do this exercise just a few minutes a day, you'll notice some real major significant improvements. I guarantee it pretty much within the next few days. And that, you know, that's no word of a lie. That's what's happened with me and other people too. But even if it takes a week, that's fine too. But I pretty much guarantee that if you do it, just a couple of minutes a day, just simple down strums, you'll notice that after a few days you'll get to those chords, you know, easier than what you were, and then, you know, you get this kind of snowball effect. So try that as well. That's a process, a bit of a strategy I'd like to leave you with. So get a metronome if you want, get a timer as well, set the clock, set the stopwatch or whatever to a few minutes, and then just go from chord to chord, you know, whatever this song is. So, you know, G major, E minor, C, and D for Last Kiss by Pearl Jam. And what you'll find is you'll certainly build up the speed, accuracy as well, and you just do those simple down strums. So use that in addition to those other tips I gave you by, you know, going from thickest to thinnest, and just trying to consider what the next chord is, and, you know, is there a better way to play that chord so you can get there more quickly. Hopefully that makes sense. But hopefully those tips will help you out with your chord changes. I will include a link below this video so you can check out my 12-week guitar course called the 12-Week Guitarist, guaranteed to teach you how to play the guitar in 12 weeks or less. So if you'd like more information about that, you can certainly check it out by clicking the link below this video. But I really hope these tips did help out. Sorry for kind of the ghetto video. Again, didn't set up the studio, but hopefully, you know, you've liked the tips I've included in this video. But thank you for watching. See you soon.